Welcome to A Nurse in the Kitchen. This is Chef Maggie. As promised, we are going to talk about the basic essentials that you need in your kitchen if you are serious about learning how to cook. But I also promised you to tell you a little bit about myself, so we're going to be doing this back and forth today. I have been a nurse for over 30 years. And initially I wanted to be a doctor, but 7 years was kind of a long time. So I took a shortcut and I became a nurse. So I went to an associate degree program in upstate New York. And then I started working. I was married, young family. So I know a lot of you out there can relate. Then I went back to school, got my bachelor's, pregnant in between, drop a baby here, a baby there, you know. And then we moved to Florida. And after I came to Florida, I went to what we call a cohort program and got my master's in health administration. Because I've always wanted to be in business. My mom was an entrepreneur, and I think it's in the blood. Even now, with my nursing and other things that I do, I'm always thinking business. But that's just me. It's not for everybody. You just need to understand what makes you tick, so to speak. Okay? So we can continue a little bit later, but let's go back to your essential. In your kitchen, of course, some of you have beautiful kitchens. You have beautiful appliances that you don't use. And to cook, you don't really need anything fancy. All right, for the basics, the first thing you need is a good knife. This is called a chef's knife. You can go to Walmart, you can go to IKEA, you can even go to Amazon and order one, okay? So this is the one you're going to use the most in the kitchen. This one, the smaller one, is called a paring knife. In fact, I was missing mine, and the other day I was at Walmart and picked this one up. This one you can cut vegetables with, small items, so you don't need that risk and that support of the chef knife. So you need a chef knife. You need a paring knife. This one with the teeth, we call that the serrated knife. The serrated knife you use mostly to kind of cut bread or things that are a little bit heavier. But if you look at it, it's a little bit more flexible than the chef's knife. The chef's knife is really hard. So that's why it's the favorite in the kitchen, and most of us use this one the most. Next is the filet knife. So if you're into filleting like fish, this is the one you're going to be using. So you need that as well. And in the kitchen, in order for you, I'm not a gadget person. I've been in home, people have like 2-3 drawers full of gadgets. I'm not into all that, because once you have the basics, you don't need all that, okay? So don't waste your money watching late night TV and ordering all this stuff. Even though this week I saw a garlic presser that was pretty interesting. So I almost bought it, but I didn't. You also need some long spoons in your kitchen. So you can go to Walmart again and get a long spoon, because that's how you scoop and you mix. So this is important. Then you got one, we call that a slotted spoon. This one has holes in it. So let's say you want to take something and there's gravy, you want to drop that liquid. So this is the one you would be using. This one, you would mix like things like rice, something that's solid. But this one, if there is any gravy, you just want to take it out of there, this would be the one. This is called a slotted spoon. And these also come as a rubber material. And I remember saying, I don't like rubber spoons. But then I realized, if you have a pan like this one, you don't want to be using the metal one, because you can scratch it and you damage the surface of your pan, which is so important, because when you're cooking and you're flipping, you don't want to damage the coating here in your pan. So it's important to have the rubber spoon and the spatula. You also need a couple of whisks. Let's say you're doing scrambled eggs, you could use this one. If you're doing something a little bit more, larger quantities, you can have a medium, okay? That's great. This one, we call that a spatula also, but we used to use that in school mostly when we're flipping fish. Let's say you're cooking some salmon, you're cooking some cod, and it's something that's real delicate, okay? You know this is not going to work for that. So definitely invest in a spatula like that. Very important. And this is another one. It's the same principle, even though it's a little bit bigger. You also need a ladle if you're going to be making soups and you want to scoop the soups. This is what you use. Even though you could also use the slotted spoon, but this is more practical. So you don't need to invest a lot. Just one of these is fine. I mean, in the restaurant, you know, we have a lot of them, but that's fine for the home. And also, you need a couple of these because when you're cooking eggs, you want to be able to move the eggs in and out, and this is probably not practical to use that. So you want to use different sizes of those, okay? And you need a meat thermometer if you're cooking things like turkey around the holidays, and you want to make sure you're keeping your food at the right temperature, which is another video, because food safety, I'm going to do one video just about that, because guys, this is real. People get sick from contaminated food, and a lot of it happens, you know, without you being aware of what you're doing. Maybe you cross-contaminate or you don't keep food at the right temperature. All right, very important. Something that was grilled in us in school. Sometimes you're cooking something and you need a wooden spoon, so you may want to have one or two of these. And also we need a couple of brushes if you're baking, like when I'm making the pate. This is important for you to take the egg wash and you want to be able to dip it in there and then use. And all these things, you go to Walmart, you could just get your list and get all that stuff. Not a big investment at all. If you're into baking, you're gonna need to get a set of measuring spoons. The quarter cup and a third of a cup and a cup. You're measuring the flour and the sugar. So that's important to have that as well. You also need maybe a couple of tongues to pick up things, you know, because let's say you're doing fried chicken. You don't want to be grabbing this. You just want to use your tongue so you can have different, you know, sizes, which is pretty nice. Another thing that I find very interesting and very helpful is a mallet. I have a wooden one, which I don't use that much, but this one is metal. It's pretty heavy. So let's say you want to do chicken parmesan, and then your chicken is supposed to be very thin. So instead of trying to cut it to the right, you know, thinness, you can just put it on your board and then you just mash it, and then it softens and it cooks in a jiffy. You know, I'm all about something that is easy for you to use, that doesn't take a lot of time, and I take shortcuts. I admit, I'm one of those chefs. You can call me a lazy chef, but I do take shortcuts. The other thing you need, if you see, can you give me the board? You want to invest in a couple of cutting boards. This is a big one. I inherited this one from my restaurant, but you can have one that's just half the size for your home. I mean, if you have a large family and you're going to cook large amount of food, you may want to do a large one. I recommend that you have two of them. One for like vegetables, fruit, and one for your meat. And you never cross over, okay? This is another one of those cross-contamination things. And I have a horror story I could tell you. There was a chef, I was watching a cooking show. It was very important, very well-known cooking show. And this chef was well-known. And he had published a few books. He owned a few restaurants. And he's cooking this dish. And he was chopping or cutting some chicken breast. And then he just moved over, he grabbed a piece of lettuce and he started cutting the lettuce. And I remember I went, oh! And the judges went, oh my God, oh my God. He did not realize he had crossed over from the chicken to the lettuce, same board, same knife. That is a no-no in cooking. I mean, the chefs would just have a heart attack if you ever did that. They would flunk you in school if you did that. So I remember at the end of the cooking show, he presented this dish to the chef, and the judges were like, I'm so sorry, chef, we can't eat this because you crossed over, you contaminated your chicken. I was like, oh my God, I felt so bad for him. But these are some of the things that you do, and that was in public, so that was pretty bad. But in your home, nobody's watching, but you also need to make sure you don't cross-contaminate. You can make your kids sick and yourself sick, all right? And we don't want to do that. A couple of other items that not every kitchen might have, but I do. Oh my God, the pez. We call that the pez. My Haitian friends, you know what this is. This is what you use when you pressing the plantain, okay? After you fry the plantain and then you press it in between. But you know, I have used the bottom of a cup. If I didn't have it, I could use the bottom of a small bowl. So don't be hung up on this. But if you're looking to get this one, I've seen them in the Caribbean stores, or I've seen them like in a Spanish store. They may have like a leather thing that connects the two together, which is fine. But if they're not, it's okay too. But I use this a lot. And of course, every Haitian household has the pilon, okay? A mortar and pestle, we call it in cooking. But this one also you can find in a Spanish store or Caribbean store. This is where we mash our spices, our garlic and our green onion. But when I show you how to make the a-piece, I'm going to take a shortcut and I'm just going to put it in my extreme blender here, or I have a regular blender that I could use, but we can take shortcuts. Again, remember, this is my way of doing things. It doesn't mean it's your way, but this is what I use. I use that a lot. Let's see, a couple of things that you want to invest in terms of cookware. You need a nice pan, all right? You don't need to buy the most expensive pan. You want something that is non-stick, all right? Something that when you cook your eggs, you can move around freely. Again, there's a lot of hype, a lot of things that are being advertised to you. Just go to IKEA or Walmart and get a nice pan. And the other thing you will need also is a Dutch oven. Now you see this? I love this little thing. It's non-stick, it's deep enough. You can do soups in there. You can cook your rice in here. You can do a lot. So just invest in one of these and you should be good to go. And another thing you may want to have is a small pan. Let's say you want to boil some eggs or something real simple. And these come in different sizes. You can have that as well. So every chef would have that. Of course, you need to have a blender, whether you want a Vitamix, because at one point we'll talk about smoothies, making smoothies, so that would be perfect for you to do also. Now, in addition to your oven and your stove and stovetop, one of the things that I like to do, if I'm cooking like, I want to do some chicken breast, I want to put it on a salad, I want to grill some chicken, instead of going out and putting the meat on the grill, I use this. I put this right on top of the stove on the burner, and then I cook the chicken on it, okay? And then you have the grill marks, so it doesn't have to be on the grill outside. You can do it in this one. And you can also, I have this thing here that I use, and I can do burgers on this one, all right? So if you live in Florida like I do, and it's really hot, and you want to do a burger, and you want to have the grill marks, you want to grill some chicken, you want to grill some vegetables, you can also use this one. What I want to show you is what we call the chaudière, okay? We Haitians believe in having these where we cook our rice. Now, this is kind of a metal, but I find that they're not as thick as I'm used to when I was growing up, but it still works. And these come in various sizes depending on how many you're cooking for. So this is kind of a small to medium one. I have a real large one if I'm doing an event and I'm cooking for a large group. So again, you can go to Walmart and you can buy this, or you can go to the Caribbean store and you will find that as well. So pretty much, I think once you have these items, and you don't have to have them all at one time, you can like once a week you get a couple more. And if you would like, I'll do a list of them for you. I'll put it on in the description, and you guys can just go out there and just buy them, so that next time when we're cooking and I say, okay, grab a spatula, you know, grab your chef's knife, so you guys will have what you need so you can cook. This is it about the basic essentials. Going back to me, I told you about my journey into nursing, coming to Florida. We moved to Florida in 1988. Then I went to that master's program and became, got an MS. Let's see. I started working in med-surg, like most of you. Then I went to critical care. I did CCU for a while, which I love. I really love the heart. And then I went to home care for a while. And a lot of you are doing home care for the same reason I did it. Flexibility, family, children, you want a flexible schedule. So that's pretty much why I did it. And then I managed a home care company for like 13 years. So I was the administrator. I did the hiring and responsible for billing, lots of stuff, which really I love as well. Then we sold that home care agency in 2014, I guess. That's when I went to culinary school, because I was at a juncture. It was like, what do you do with your life now? You know, the kids are growing. Do you want to go to acute care? So I didn't want to do that. I went to culinary school, graduated from the cordon bleu. That's why I can wear this hat. But I may lose the hat in the next videos. I don't want anybody to get offended. Just say, well, why is she have a stethoscope around here? She no doctor. I know, I'm not a doctor. But I use this a lot. So I don't know how to wear it. After culinary school, I decided I didn't want, well, I worked for Disney for a short time, and then I think I worked for another place. But volume cooking in a fast-paced environment for very little money was not that attractive to me. I mean, they work you like a dog, okay? They work you like a dog in nursing too, don't get me wrong. But the pay is a little bit better. So I decided I wanted to own my own restaurant, and I wanted to start small. So I own a small cafe, and I ran that for a couple of years, and I loved being in that little cafe because I get in, I fire the grill, and I got the music going, I'm in my zone. This is the kind of thing I want to share with you, to translate to you. What is your zone? What is your sweet spot? What is it that you do that really fills you up with this, you know, when the endorphins and everything is flowing and you feel really good? That cooking does that for me, and I hope it does that for you one of these days. So after the restaurant, we lost our lease, and that was really a dark moment. And we moved to another spot, and that spot didn't work, and we ended up closing the restaurant. You know, I tell my daughter, I said, you know what? I hadn't failed at anything in life, and that was a good lesson. And that's another video to share to you my journey from when I closed the restaurant to now, because it was another learning experience, it was another growth experience. You know, you have to go through the valley. You know, there is a verse in Psalm 23 that said, when I walk through the valley, and I used to always tell people, you're walking through the valley, you're not staying in the valley, but you have to go through that pain, and that's how you grow. And closing that restaurant was really a painful time in my life. But here I am. I didn't die. It didn't kill me. I'm still here, talking to you, sharing with you. So whatever you're going through, just keep that in mind. It's just a season. You're just going through it. If you hang in there and you keep your, keep your hope up, keep your eyes up, you're gonna get through it. So here we are sharing. I'm gonna stop right now for this video. I showed you the essential. Now you know a little bit about me. You're gonna learn more about me in the next videos. But next video, we're gonna start cooking. We're gonna start with making épices, which is a basic mixture of spices. Because once you have that and you put it in your food, guaranteed to bring the taste right up there. So, and then I'm gonna tell you, don't tell me you use Maggi in your food. Accent, we're all about healthy No additives. When you're in cooking school, we don't put any additive in our school. It's all about flavoring with what you have. Whether you put acid, maybe whether you add herbs. This is what I'm going to teach you, that you don't need to eat anything artificial for your food to taste good. Alrighty, so I look forward to your comment. Please subscribe, share the video. When I'm on Instagram, follow me on Instagram. And that way I can tell me what you want me to talk about. Tell me what you want to see, what you want me to cook. Remember, I'm all about easy. Don't ask me about any fancy stuff. I'm not a Michelin star chef. I'm not into that. It's for somebody else. We're here to share and to just have fun. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Au revoir, à la prochaine.